Morning everyone, today we're going to do some crazy goofs. And we're going to be using some deer here, some mule deer. And I'm just going to brush out all that under fur. Here we Hey Dad, good to have you in. We're going to make it the length of the shank here. Looks good, nice little poofy guy. And we're going to tie in our body, which is going to be this vintage yellow chenille. I'm just going to strip off the front piece there and cut it clean. We'll tie it in up at the head, right at our tie-in point. And I'm just going to bring our thread back. And I'm going to gather our top cap here. It's really soft for just going to gather it up. Light wrap. At that point, we're going to be pulling it back here. That's where we'll tie off the body too. I want to get 3 wraps on that because we're going to be pulling it forward from that point. Got quite a few short ones in there. Probably should have cleaned out. We'll see how they lay. But these ones aren't going to be long enough. Well, maybe just long enough to bend over. So those are 3 medium wraps there. And we're just going to bury this end here a little bit. Don't have so much of a step. And bring our thread back to the base where we're going to tie in the chenille. Get 2 wraps in so we got a good base without twisting it too much. There we go. And we should end up right between the barb and the point, which we are. Okay, so this is old vintage chenille, and you can see it's flat. It has a flat texture to it, so we're gonna poof it out, and then we're just gonna twist it up. And then we'll end up with a modern round chenille out of the flat stuff. And as you wrap, it'll... Let's redo that last one there. There we go. As you wrap, it'll untwist your wrap on you. You just tighten it back up there. Okay. Got her right there. I'm gonna get her right underneath. And we want to do our tie-off point up top. And do your wraps just to the back of the body there. That should be enough. That way when you pull the cap over, it'll hide your body wrap. There we are. Just fix the tail a little bit there. There's a few tail fibers that were stuck in the top cap. Okay. Now we do have a fair bit of short ones here that are probably going to want to try and pop out, but we'll see how it lays. Yeah, there we go, got a few. Those are fine. We'll just pull them out after. Just let it do what it's gonna do. You can't make them any longer than what the deer gave you. Alright, so I'm just gonna hold it like that. I just want a nice smooth. Hey Doug, that's going good this morning, mate. Just enjoying a nice cup of tea and a couple flies. Okay, I'm gonna counter wrap this now. In our first wrap, we want to get it just after the butt. There's about a bobbin width. And then do even wraps at that. About a bobbin width all the way across. You should have about 4 to 5 segments anyway. Shoot for 5. There we go. Definitely a position where you don't want to let go by accident. Alright, so we'll deal with those guys at the end there in a minute. Just check and see if any other ones popped out. No, it looks like we got her pretty good. Happy with that. I'm still counter wrapping here, which won't be a big deal because we'll throw in a couple half hitches here and change our thread direction. Now I'm going to be tying this down by working my way through the deer hair in several places, and that will stop it from pulling back out. If you do just the top and try and pin it all down, you won't have enough tension on the bottom strands and they can pull back out. If you're doing it in pieces like that, and each bunch is getting enough tension to hold it in. That should do it. I'm just going to bring this up with my fingers so it'll kind of behave a little bit better. I got some short ones there, but they should be fine. They're tied in now. I'm just going to throw 1 or 2 half hitches on the end here just to act as a save point so none of that tension comes loose. And if we cut anything by accident, hopefully we won't unravel. Alright, so now we're going to gather this best we can and cut it on an angle 45 back. That'll allow us to create a smoother ramp for our hackle, which is the next step. Just like that. 1 or 2 there, but overall that went pretty good. And this is where we can come in. There. And for these back ones, it's generally easier just to use some tweezers and just pluck them out. Bailing out the boat. Yeah. Need to throw in a little sump pump or something. A little bilge. You probably do something up like a little 12 volter. Depending on how much water you got coming in. For small stuff, I always found like one of those big peanut-shaped sponges works really well. Then you can get in all the cracks and everything too, not just the contour of the boat, like you would with a scoop or whatever. Alright, so he's got his little haircut. We're sitting pretty there. I'm gonna move part of his tail. Looks like his tail twisted just a hair, so. Gonna bring a few fibers from that side up. There we go. And I can live on this side now. Hey, okay, so I got a really nice little top cap on there. See, right along the top, got about 5 segments to it, roughly about your bobbin's thickness. Chenilled body with a little bit of black segmentation. Okay, and now we're gonna bind this backwards, going back towards, and we've switched our thread direction at this point. Just binding down There we are. We're just binding down that fluff ball where we cut it. You can leave a little bit like that's perfectly fine. It'll actually help hold the hackle in place. What you don't want is you don't want like a steep ledge drop off, because if you're having that, then when you hit it with your hackle, it'll kink out to the front. Okay, let me find 2 hackle pieces that are going to work for us here. Yeah, I think these 2 will be fine. The traditional pattern calls for them to be face to face, so your shiny side, or the side that's facing you while it's on the cape, those 2 sides should be facing each other, so you have the dull sides out. Yeah, it's a very old traditional style. My personal preference is to have the shiny side out, because I think that's really the prettier side and it reflects more light, but this is the way they tied them. This one's got quite a kink to it, but I think we'll be fine. Fortunately, the kink is not kinked into our favor. Let's go in the opposite direction I'd like it to be. But we'll make her work. Okay, so we got the ends cleaned off for good tie-in points there. I'm just going to trim those nice and flat. And we're going to tie those in 3 to 4 really good wraps and just continue to bury that mohawk headpiece. And I'm going to throw 1/2 inch in there just to save point. Okay, well, you probably got a lot of cleaning in that case to do then if you already got it on the bank. Yeah, I guess it's coming to that end of season. Scary thought. Okay, I'm gonna use my little hackle pliers on this guy. Might have to adjust it because they are kinking away from each other, but I think we'll manage fine. We're going for a kind of straight collared hackle. Trying to get this to behave without crushing its neighbors. It wants to twist the other direction. I think I'm gonna actually wrap, although it's not the traditional style. I'm gonna wrap these one at a time. They're just a little too kinky. Thanks, Muddy Waters. Good to see you, mate. Hopefully you're having a good morning. Yeah, we're gonna do these two guys separately. We'll get a much nicer looking hackle. Probably a little bit less fight. Yeah, there we go. I'm just gonna spread these out so that the wraps are about a rachis length apart. So the next one will go in between the other. In theory. In theory. But she's already looking a little better. Since we got two wraps there too, we don't need to really get the whole length in there. Oh, she's sliding down. Let me try that wrap again here. Like get this last wrap just up top there. Beauty. That'll work. And she's pinned in there. Got quite a bit more shooting forward than I'd like, but I think we'll get those pinned back with a half hitch once we get the second one in here. Just gonna do 3 wraps, hold it in, and then we'll get that half hitch in. Yeah, I have this thing with older vintage hackle, and a lot of times it's crazily messed up like this and kinked, and it's a really cool challenge to tie with it. I got lots of pretty capes that are, you know, perfectly flat and good barb lengths and everything, but this is what they used in the 40s, so it's a lot more authentic to the fly pattern. Trying to just get the rachis to, that's a tough rachis, there we go, to cut off with the tension so we can leave as many barbs as we can up there. That looks just fine. There we go. Yeah, that worked out pretty well. We'll get the second one going here. This is the one that's like got a super kink right there, which is pretty much where my tie-off point is. It also has some damage. Right here you can see there's a bunch of missing strands on that side, which isn't really gonna make a big difference for us because we're tying, that's our wrap side. But ideally, you obviously wouldn't want to have a damaged hackle feather, but again, in the 40s, this is exactly what they would pull off the farm, and this is what they would be using. So, there is no, and they caught fish on it just fine, and as you can see, with a little bit of effort and persistence, it'll look just fine. I might have to grab it just a hair more down on that rachis so to get it all the way around. One sec, just gonna readjust the pliers here. There we are. Yeah, there we go. Now we'll get that last wrap in the right spot. I got enough there for one more. No, I think that's good. I think we're good there. So we'll just pull it off the side, get our thread up under, lock her in. Get to, ooh, jumped on me. Did we lose her? I still got her. It was my bad. I pulled a little too forward on that one. So let's do 2 to 3 careful ones because I'm not sure how many thread wraps I lost there. And then we'll get a half hitch in there quickly. Ugh, my cat's been sleeping on my tie-in area, so I got cat fur sticking to everything. That's okay. She's a sweetheart, if not crazy. Yeah, so we got our half hitches in there. That's going to hold everything nice and tight. Cut that off, and then we'll have our crazy goof. Just the more common name. Its original name is Yellow Bodied Gray Back. Bet you can't guess why they came up with that name. Five extra internet points if you can guess why they came up with that name. Okay, we're just going to preen this back. Overall, that hackle is laying pretty much right where I'd like it to. We got it about a half, about a half or so past our point, or a gap height and a half. So that's perfect, and our tail is sitting out at a shank length, so that should float beautifully on the water on that angle there. Yeah, I'm happy that turned out real well. We'll get 4 or 5 wraps with the whip finish if the hackle wants to keep playing ball with us. Ooh, of course. What? Behave. We're going to go with 3. It's not going anywhere with the half hitches as they are anyway. Oh, there we go. That turned out good. I'm happy with that one. To my mind anyway, if you're using the modern genetic hackles on these older patterns, there's a character that they lose from it. I'll be at work later today, Muddy Waters, so I'll be in the same boat. Not Doug's boat, but a boat. Yeah, this should be extremely buoyant with the top cap from the deer hair tail. I'm gonna let that we'll let that set up here. the head cement. Yeah, overall it's a really durable, kind of original version, pretty close to a Tom Thumb. The type of fly it is, the overwrap and everything that helps keep things together. Trout's teeth are gonna just chew up that back cap though, but that's all part of the game. Okay, that should do. We'll get another one in there. Go hang out with its friend here. There it be. And we're just using black uni, we're using 6 or 8/0. 6/0. 6/0 will work a little better for the deer hair. You can use 8/0. It just has a little bit higher chance since it's thinner of cutting through the strands. And we're gonna get our deer hair again here. Got a little bit of damage on the side there, which always happens from packaging and whatever and handling. So I'm gonna work my way along the front. It's a new patch. I think we're good about there. We want to basically, if it's flattened, you want to have it roughly the width of the gap. That way you can keep them all consistent and it's easy. And if you measure from the gap, the other nice thing is if you're changing hook sizes, then your material size also changes. So you can keep them consistent over different size hooks. And since we're flipping this back, I'm going to try and get rid of all that thin under fur and all the broken pieces and any really short guys in there, because they're not going to fold back on us anyway. There's a few. Those are the ones we had a few extra trapped in there last time. Not the end of the world, you can just pull them out if they decide to poke their head up, but easier to get rid of them now than later. They do like to hide in there, don't they? Alright. Clean enough. Pop that in our hair stacker. Give it a little tappy tap tap. Got one crazy one sticking out there. Goodbye. There's a clump. Yeah, we do have a few short ones there, but overall looks like they'll probably tie in. Yeah, so we're gonna lay that. So I got a couple broken ones on the side here too. Let's just pick those out. That's better. I keep seeing more. One second. I'm being way too picky because they're probably going to come out as we tie anyway, but so basically what's happening here is you're getting ones where the tips have broken off, and when you stack them then they pop out. You can see how much thicker it is on the end, so it's tip broke. Who knows how long ago? Well, deer was out being a deer. And it's also the edge of the cutting on, because it's a new, wow, there's a good bit here. One second. Well, there's another one. Alright, I think we're good now. Okay. It's also the edge of the hide where they cut it for packaging. Oh. Okay, that's enough. I don't need to be any more picky than that. Here we're gonna have it gap length, transfer it over. And we're gonna start about between the barb and the hook point there. Get one soft wrap in. Pulled a little hard on that, just trying to get some more thread out. Just readjust it. There we go. Alright, so we want to get like 3 medium wraps. Not enough to flare your hair out, but that'll help keep everything bound together so it's not spinning so much on the hook. Once you got those ones in, come on, behave. Once you got those ones in, then we're going to do some more heavier wraps back, basically making a notch there. As you can see, I jumped ahead. And this one should be just past the barb. That's where your tail is going to end. How much tension you put on this wrap is going to determine how fluffed out your tail is going to be. So we're going to do 3 medium wraps there, and then back to our original tail tying point. It's gonna let me. There we go. See, it's trying to spin, but really didn't move all that much. We can adjust that by pulling this forward. A few broken strands floating around in there. You can adjust that by pulling it forward and just slight adjustment on the top. And then we, come on now. Okay, and then we can tighten down on that and lock it in. 2 to 3 wraps. We should have a nice little poofy tail at the backside, but not too much. You want it about 20 to 30 degree angle or so, just enough so that it's going to move water, but you want it on a bit of an angle that allows it to have some stiffness so it'll sit on the water correctly. It'll be holding up the fly. I got a few that are just gonna be a pain in the butt. Alright, so we're gonna get our... I think I got enough left in this one to get another body out of it. This is our vintage chenille. This would be early 60s chenille, but they made it about the same. It hasn't really changed a whole lot from the 40s and 50s. The only real difference is the rayon type fibers that they used then are a little more durable actually than the earlier ones. Okay, so we're just going to grab our fingers down below like this and just sweep up. And we're going to do it again because that was horrible. There we go. And all we're trying to do here is just kind of get it out of our way a bit. So once we sweep it up, I'm just going to put a couple wraps at the base here, and that'll help it stand up a bit out of our way. Actually, in hindsight from the last one we did, I'm going to switch this up and bind that back right now before we tie in that. Before we tie in the body wrap. Just because it's a bit annoying, kind of. Go around the chenille. So let's get this bound back now, and we'll come back. Again, we're just grabbing it, pulling it back. We're going to do our first medium wrap, about 2 or 3, so it'll be right at the point on the hook. So we got about 2 or 3 thread wraps that way to bind it right to the tail tie-in point. There, now we should be just on the other side of the barb. Yep, that's where I want to be. So that shouldn't have adjusted our tail. Looks like everything's good. What's that look? Yeah, everything looks good. If you get too far back, you're going to push your tail down. And I'm just going to do some tighter wraps to bind that down a little bit. There we go. That actually worked out better. I think I might start doing that. Excuse me. Let's have some tea. Hey Yoshi, sorry I didn't see you pop in there. Yeah, everything's really good with me and the family. Thanks for asking, Yoshi. Nice lazy weekend morning. Me and the wonderful wife have to work today, but we got a little bit of time off in the morning here. So I'm gonna enjoy a nice cup of tea, tie some vintage fly patterns, and then play some video games. Not gonna get any better than that. Okay, we're just gonna tie our vintage chenille in. This is the flat stuff. Again, we're just gonna fluff it up, almost like you would peacock curl. Give rid of any non-attached fluff. And then to make this round, you just twist it. And you want to twist it clockwise because you're going to counter wrap it counterclockwise. As you wrap it though, you will have to continue twisting it. There we go. Now I got a nice round, modern kind of style chenille. Glad I ran into this stuff. It was got a big bulk package of it at a thrift store, and it still had the original marking labels on it, so I could date it proper. Nope. Getting ahead of myself here. I forgot to move the thread back. Let's do that first. Let's get a good 3 or 4 wraps back here, so we got something to torque on. Alright, let's start that again. Alright, twist it up clockwise. Yeah, that looks like I had just enough to get this done. I'd like to get one more. Normally I'd finish it off top, but it looks like I'm affecting the tail if I go more than that, so I'm gonna have to finish it off on my side. So I don't want to put any more tension on the tail. Get 3 wraps like that. Yeah, that'll work fine. Okay, and again we have a number of, there's a couple I can see here. I'm just going to grab them right now because they're way too short to bend all the way across. And feel free to deal with them after, because once they're bound down, they're adding a bit of bulk to the body and they don't go all the way across. As long as they're on the bottom end of things, it's not going to make any difference. Wow, I got a lot more in there than I figured I did. Wow. Okay. Well, we got some trimming to do after. Didn't realize there was that many shorties in there. All good. Easy trimming job. Okay. So we're going to start underneath here. Bring it up about a bobbin width from the end so that we don't get too close to the tail tie-in. And we're going to continue that segmentation all the way along without letting go. That's the tricky part. Speaking of not letting go, I probably should have held on for that one more wrap there, but we got her. There we go. So we got our nice segmentation. Beautiful little top cap. Quite happy with that. Okay, so to finish this one off, or not finish it off, but to finish off top cap, we want to wrap this. So you can put, a good amount of tension on it. Nothing crazy, but you can put a good amount of tension on it because you're going to be coming through the hair like this and just binding it in several places along there. And that'll help it from pulling back quite a bit, actually. They won't slip on each other. Makes a bit of a mess, but in the end you'll have a much more secure fly. Now the easiest thing to do is once you have it at the bottom, just fingers underneath, bring it up, lost one there, that's good. Okay, I'm just going to get a few wraps there because we're going to throw in a half hitch because I got to change my thread direction here. The reason we want to change our thread direction, or have our thread direction the other direction, is so that our thread ribbing here isn't going to sink into the chenille body as much. If it's going the other wrap direction, it'll sit on top, called counter wrapping. But you can't guess why they call it that. There. So now this is all held in place. Don't have to worry about anything coming out. We can cut it off, clean it up. But to cut it off, we're just going to gather it. We're going to be cutting it on a, not quite a 45, but like a good angle this way. That'll give us a nice slow slope to tie the hackle in so it's not going all cattywampus on us. There we go. Almost like an elk-ar caddis front, but super short, like if an elk-ar caddis was joining the military. There. And you don't have to get it perfect. Your hackle thread wraps will sink right into that. Now tying it back, we're going to try and pin as many of these down as we can. Give us a nice tying base. Right back to our last cap wrap there. So we're going to have roughly, not quite a bobbin width, maybe 3/4 of a bobbin width there for our hackle tie-in. Looks like I got one broken strand there. Let's get rid of him. Get him. There we go. And since I got these out, I'm just gonna clean up the tail here. Just adjusting the tail a bit. There we be. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. Alright, so for the hackle, let's see if we can find two that are relatively. Just have a bunch here for a loose pack I have that are the right size and vintage. There it be. Yeah, these two will work. So we'll try and double wrap them again, but that whole wrapping one then the other seemed to work better for me, so we might just stick with that. Again, this one's got some damage here. We're going to remove. We're not going to need the whole here, so. And this part of the rachis is ridiculously rigid and thick, so I'm going to try and get back a bit. There we go. Yeah, you got some beautiful nice ridgy ones on this. So we're going to tie this one with the shiny side forward, and then the other one will tie in with the shiny side back. Oh, let's cut that rachis off. Okay, so we got that one shiny forward. This one will tie in shiny back. This is a great way to use up the smaller hackles that you might have on some cheaper Chinese capes and stuff that you can get inexpensively. You don't need the really high-end hackle to get a fly done up. You really, really don't. It's nice, don't get me wrong. If all you can afford is a $10 Chinese cape, you can go a long way with it. And learning to overcome and, well, for lack of a better word, fight the natural differences in your hackle, the better tire you become. You have to find a way to. Oops, 1 second there. More cat here. Alright, so yeah, so we tied that shiny side toward the other shiny side. So they're facing each other. Just gonna bury a few of these. There we are. Bury a few of those. I'm gonna throw 1 or 2 half hitches on the front here just to hold everything in a happy little medium. Beauty. Hi. Now, got them together, so our first wraps are gonna be this guy's forward. Yes. Okay. So first wrap's are gonna be this one. We're gonna space it out about a rachis width for the second. These guys are actually laying pretty good. Maybe I should. Nah. Let's stick to the plan. I was thinking maybe I'll just wrap them together. Okay, got a nice first wrap, collar wrap there. I broke it. Not cool. Come on, buddy. Come on, you want to turn into a fly, don't you? You totally want to be a fly. Okay, I'll get one more up on the collar here. Beauty. Okay, yeah, that one turned out nice. I'm quite happy with that. It's pointing a little bit forward there, but we'll get that back. Yeah, gonna get up underneath, so it's trapped now. It's not going anywhere, you can see that. I'm gonna get 2 to 3 good wraps around there to stick it in place. I'll bind it down. And I'll get a half hitch or two, also just to push those couple wraps back a hair here. There we are. Okay, now we'll get our second one in. It's looking really good already though. I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to pull on the rachis. There we go. Oh, you got an order from Turner? That's cool, Yoshi. Yeah, if it wasn't for all the shipping and, you know, not that I want to get into it, but all the tariff stuff and everything right now, it's hard to get anything from the States, if it even gets here. Being in Canada. Canada Post is kind of in the middle of strike action, and yeah, just all sorts of issues to contend with right now. But eventually, at some point, it'll settle down and we'll be back to life as normal. Okay, just gonna weave this through the other hackle. Well, that's nice. That's bushing it right up there. Don't break on me now. Come on. You're doing so well. Just keep it up. Beauty. There we go. You want to get one more wrap in there? No, I think you're good. I think that's all we got. Okay. There we be. Okay. Got her trap there now. Pull her back the other way. Get 2 or 3 wraps just in front of her. Beauty. That was a lot easier than the last set of hackle, that's for sure. But we made them both work. 2 half hitches will hold the tension in place. There we are. I have to add a little tension to my bob. It seems to be dripping on me a bit. Okay, we'll get rid of that guy now. See that beautiful top cap? That turned out wonderful. There we go. Yeah, happy with that one. That looks like a super happy little fly. Look at him. That bushed out just proper, didn't it? I'm happy with that one. Let's have a little tea here before we tie that off. Cheers, morning everyone. Oh. Okay, so we're gonna whip finish this. Try and get 4 or 5 in there. It's gonna behave for us. Let's tilt you up just a hair there. Come on now. There we go. Beauty. Okay. Yeah, that worked out just right. Look at that fat little chubber, eh? No, I'm happy with that one. Turned out just nice. I'll put a little head cement on there. The glue that holds it together. Or at least gives me a little more confidence it's going to hold together. There we go. Beauty. I think I might have just got a whiff of cement in the eye there, so I'm just going to clear it. Yeah, maybe not. And there you have it. That is a crazy goof. If you're enjoying, please drop a like. I enjoy seeing the little number go up. And if you want to see more of this kind of thing, hit the subscribe. Hopefully it'll show up in your feed. You can come hang out and enjoy a good morning fly time. There we go. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's a good looking little dude. He can go hang out with his friends. Okay, I'm gonna go do some work out in the yard, clean chicken coop, get some fall prepping done. Hopefully you all have a wonderful day. There we go. He can go hang out with his friends here. Look at that. Beautiful little trio. Got another 4 more to go later. Hey, thanks for hanging out, everyone. You have yourself a wonderful morning.